Assalamu alaikum. Hello, everyone. Today we are here again with a new episode of our podcast regarding sustainability and reducing carbon footprints. We have with us a young 24 years old CEO, entrepreneur, and a PhD researcher, Mr. Mark, with us. Thank you so much, Mr. Mark.
Great.
You are here with Windmason with our podcast of about sustainability. Mr. Mark, tell me about yourself. And in this young age, when you are only 24 years old, you achieved a lot. You are also ambassador of European Climate Pact. So tell me about yourself and how you come into this waste management and sustainability things.
Sure. So first of all, hello everybody, and thank you very much, Shakeel, for having me here. So yes, indeed, I got involved into waste management, and how it actually happened is that we were with our team involved in one of the hackathons and really saw the pressing issue of the climate in a sense. But if we're talking more broadly, let's say about myself and my background. So yes, I'm the co-founder and CEO of Waste Locker, who we help to measure, track, and also reduce waste, also with the environmental compliance. And in parallel, I tie this to the PhD research that I'm conducting in the Tallinn Technical University. So there I'm focusing on the waste management part, but also on the urban air pollution quantification. And all of this is essentially, brought together with being the EU Climate Pact ambassador, so supporting the European Union transition to be more sustainable.
Very nice, fantastic. So if we talk about waste locker, you talk about AI, you talk about IoT, you talk about satellite imageries and these things. So can you tell me what exactly waste locker do?
Yeah, sure. So what Waste Locker does is that we essentially help companies and organizations to track, measure, and reduce their waste. So how we are doing this is we're primarily using image-based analysis, and this is where, let's say, IoT and satellites come into play. So we either have our own IoT devices that we can place inside the waste containers. They take images of waste and then we process them using AI to understand different types and quantities. And the same way we are using satellites. So detecting from satellite images, for example, illegal dumping activities and quantifying them.
You already mentioned, I have written, I have seen this, I have that you are saying that mixed waste and you have the system where you can save almost 70%. As a windmason, we claim that we are saving 80% of energy, and you are saying in waste management, because of mixed waste, you are saving 70%. So saving 70%, what is this exactly?
What this means actually 70% is that the primary issue with the current, let's say, waste management is that if the waste is mixed at the source or where it is produced, it means that it's harder to recycle, sometimes even impossible. You might have the fancy, let's say, factories built and so on, but the fact remains that it's more energy, it's more costly for more requires more energy, so more energy intensive and so forth. Sometimes impossible. So what we're allowed to do is that we have different types of waste at place. So for example, at the office where you can generate like plastics, paper, bio waste, or at the construction site like wood, metal, and so forth. And thanks to our system, we can educate people and we can ensure that, waste that is being thrown, for example, inside bio-waste container does not have plastics, paper, and so forth, which actually negatively impacts the overall capacity to later like generate biogas and fertilizer from it.
That's nice. So if I will ask you that waste management and sort of what you are saying, how you link this with sustainability and reducing carbon footprint, because reducing carbon footprint is a different thing and waste management is completely a different subject. So how you will manage these things together?
Yeah, oftentimes what happens is that people do not, let's say, associate waste management with reducing carbon, but there is actually some substantial saving that can be made. So, for example, by incinerating plastic waste versus recycling it, we can already save about 50% of CO2 emissions. And
Instead of burning,
yeah,
when you will
when
you use it and recycle it, it means we are creating a positive impact on climate change.
correct. And the same way, if you have, for example, if you are incinerating waste, then let's say the cleaner waste you have, the better it burns.
Yeah.
So it's also generating less of the impact on the environment. So there is also the difference that can be made.
So in Waste Locker, if I understand what you are saying, is a software company who provides services, softwares, and some gadgets
Mhm.
to improve the waste management and this system. This is what I understand,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, correctly. So it's primarily a software, let's say, solution that is driven by AI analysis from the images. But we have also some of the hardware components, so as you mentioned, like gadgets and devices to actually capture those to get the data.
Okay.
So
So you work in Europe, you work in Africa, even in GCC countries. Now you are here in Saudi Arabia with the same subject, waste management and these things. So what do you feel? What is the difference between Europe and these Africa or GCC countries?
mhm.
What kind of difficulties you faced for implementation these things? Can you?
Yeah, so we're primarily engaged in Europe and the GCC. With Africa, we've engaged with some of the stakeholders there, more on the policy level. However, the primary difference, I would say, is first in the infrastructure. So the readiness of the infrastructure to actually support waste recycling and so on. And the second is the how knowledgeable are people, let's say, about the waste management and the need to sort the waste and so forth. So I would say that in Europe has been previously, let's say, focusing a lot on the waste management, so the infrastructure is there. Saudi Arabia is lacking in terms of it. However, thanks to the a lot of investment going into it, the Vision 2030 and so forth, I believe Saudi Arabia will have a very decent infrastructure to recycle, let's say, all of the material that is being generated here. In Africa, the situation is let's say more challenging, especially because there is not that much infrastructure and the funding is not that accessible as for example in Saudi Arabia.
That's good. So before we go and wrap up, can you give me a message or in a day to day life regarding sustainability and waste management? What kind of role a normal human being can play in your day to day life regarding the sustainability and the waste management? What do you think?
Yeah, so I believe the primary role is first of all educating yourself because the more educated you are, the more you understand the impact on the planet and so forth, and you can make very small decisions like maybe reducing the amount of plastic bags that you're using sometimes when shopping for groceries and so forth or in general, let's say educating yourself even about Windmason. So for example, that's another part that you can educate yourself and you can know that such a solution is on the market. So this is, I would say, the primary.
Yeah, in a day-to-day life, it's come in my mind that even if you are making your toothbrush,
Yeah,
if you close your tab,
yeah,
it means we are playing some role. And it's also, as a Muslim, it's a sunnah that don't waste the water. So this is also a small things we can play a role and it can create an impact. Akhikum. Thank you, Mark. You are here with us in this podcast. Thank you so much. Inshallah, see you next time. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.